But first of all, we're going to have a look at what is an incredibly dangerous looking hurricane. This is Hurricane Beryl. It's already caused big problems out in the Caribbean, and it's bearing down on Jamaica. At the moment, the sustained winds are 145 miles an hour. That's going to cause structural damage. There'll be some severe floods from this as well. It then passes across the Cayman Islands as we go through the early hours of Thursday morning before heading to Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, of course very popular with British holidaymakers.
And people in Jamaica have been warned to stock up on food and water and to stay indoors as Hurricane Beryl bears down on the island with potential winds of 150 miles an hour. Now, it's due to hit Jamaica at around 2 p.m. local time. That's about 8 o'clock this evening in the UK. Our reporter Thomas McGill has more details.
Union Island, just off St Vincent and the Grenadines, is the latest part of the Caribbean to feel the full force of Hurricane Beryl, with 90% of its homes either destroyed or damaged. In Grenada, it's a similar story, where power lines are down and roofs have been ripped off buildings by the hurricane's deadly force. Its Prime Minister has been assessing the devastation and says the island of Carriacou has been very badly affected.
It is almost Armageddon-like, almost total damage or destruction of all buildings, whether they be public buildings, homes, or other private facilities. There is literally no vegetation left anywhere on the island of Carriacou.
Hurricane Beryl now threatens Jamaica as a...
Next in its path is Jamaica, where people are being urged to stock up on food, water and candles. Beryl is rapidly moving northeast across the Atlantic, its power and size visible from space. And this is how it looks in the Dominican Republic, where high tides, heavy rain and strong winds of more than 240 kilometres per hour have been relentlessly battering its coastline. As some communities across the region start to assess the damage and devastation, others in Jamaica and Mexico are preparing to batten down the hatches, hoping this Category 4 hurricane will begin to weaken in the coming hours. Thomas McGill, BBC News.
Now, the population of Jamaica is under curfew tonight, with deadly Hurricane Beryl set to smash into the island within hours. The approaching storm leaves a trail of death and destruction in its wake. At least 7 people have died so far. Countless homes have been flattened and some areas have been completely stripped of all vegetation. Geraint Vincent has the latest.
In the southern Caribbean, tiny islands have found themselves in the path of a storm of immense power. Whole streets have been smashed, the buildings shaken and turned upside down. Here in Grenada, they're just beginning to measure the damage and the loss.
We now have reports that about 4 people have lost their lives, and we're hoping it doesn't rise. We are using the next couple of days to really assess the full extent of the damages on Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
The hurricane is expected to make landfall in Jamaica at any moment. They've been preparing and protecting as best they can on this island, where the Prime Minister has told people they must find shelter today and stay there.
All Jamaica should note that following on this declaration, an island-wide curfew will be in effect between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. This is to ensure the safety of everyone during the passage of the storm.
The winds at the edge of Storm Beryl have been blowing into Jamaica's east coast in the last couple of hours. They are going to grow stronger and more dangerous. On the streets of Kingston, they're waiting for the worst. Geraint Vincent, ITV News.